Hi, I'm Chris and we are JCD. In this week's episode, I'm called out to a heavy domestic blockage. We've got two fantastic podcast guests and I reveal what our next big purchase is for JCD cleaning. Let's roll the footage. Good morning, gang. Monday morning. As suspected, we are back at the job we were at Friday. No one answered the phone Friday. Now they've rung this morning and it's a mad rush. I knew that would happen. I did say to them, I tried to call Friday, no one answered, but apparently they leave their phones or mobiles in the office. I suppose that's the joy of being employed, you don't have to take your work home with you. But we're here, we're going to have to replace that T section. I tried doing a temporary fix, to be honest, but it's just not working. I turned the pressure back on, it was leaking again. So we're going to have to replace that pipe with a compression fitting, so we'll do that. I've got another job to head to after here, a survey, and then I am spending the rest of the day down at HQ in prep for our podcast tomorrow, which I am super looking forward to. It's good to get some of them in the bank. So let's go inside, get this fixed. So that job's done. Adam, do your thing, put you up here. That one's done. This is the problem with the old drainage at the moment. I've had the van approved from Peugeot that they're going to pay for it, but I can see it taking a very long time for this van to be back to us. So I'm actually in the process of buying a smaller van, to be honest, because I can't be waiting 3-4 months for a van, which I think it's going to be, to be honest. They haven't got me a quote yet, which is annoying. So they ain't got me a quote. So that means no parts or anything's been ordered. So we've got to get a quote, that's got to be approved, order the parts, then they've got to come in and be fitted. I just can see it being months with Peugeot. I can't keep driving around in that tanker, plus I can't get someone on board to drive that tanker because not everyone's got a licence for it. So it's a real pain in the backside. So I'm actually in the process of buying a cheaper, smaller van, which, to be fair, you know, we could probably do with. We don't need our massive van on every job, just something with a jetter on the back, and then I can get someone else to come and do the drainage stuff rather than me going to do it, because I had a day plan today where I was going to go and do one job and then I was going to be in the office, but I've had 4 phone calls since then with jobs that need doing. So anyway, no point of whinging, just got to get it done. So we're at the at our next one, which is a job we've been to before, repeat customer. So yeah, let's head inside, see what's going on. Right, so we know what's going on. Looks like a relatively simple lie of the land. Guys had some reoccurring blockages, so what we do, we'll lift the covers up, we'll chuck a camera down there to start with, see if we can see anything obvious, and then we'll give it a jet out. Hopefully, shouldn't be a long one, this one. So that goes from there, feeds into a mains cover. Anyone tell me what I think that is? Looking at it, colour gives it away, build up of fat. Can they jet that one out? Jetted that line out, still a blockage though. This is what we call our Bushman's trap. There's a hole at the top and there's also a hole where the plunger is now, which is still blocked. Here we go. Bingo. Fat in that one. That white stuff is fat. Generally I've got a kitchen upstairs, so more than likely be from that. So this one's done. I'm going to go and see the customer, tidy up, put all the cupboards back, and then we're on to the next. So we've arrived at our next job in Sittingbourne. The lady has a downstairs toilet There is a manhole conveniently placed right outside, which is a little bit difficult to get up, but we've just got it up now. Let's have a look, see what's going on. I think I found the blockage. So it's up, blocked. We'll get it cleared. I'm going to jet it all out for you, but it's just full of tissue, to be honest. Right, leave it with me. We'll get it sorted. Gonna give the line a little jet. It's better. Done. Done. We're now finally going to head down to JCD HQ. Finally made it to JCD HQ. I've been catching up on some paperwork upstairs, printed some bits and pieces I had to print out. Should get a printer at home really, never have. Got all that stuff. What I'm going to do now, the tanker needs a wash. It's rotten, never fits in any of the car washes, and if I drive it into one where they wash it for you, they look at me as if I'm mental. So yeah, I'm going to quickly get the jet wash out and give it a rinse down. It'll take 20 minutes, half hour. So yeah, tomorrow, interesting day. We have a podcast guest. I won't say who it is until tomorrow. I'll save that. Adam will be with me most of the day. I'll film the morning. I'm really looking forward to get going with these podcasts. And then we've got another one this week with an MBE, which I'm super looking forward to. So yeah, let's go outside, give this tanker a wash down. Van looks, well, tanker looks brand new. We ain't got a van at the moment. Been working hard the tanker, so gave her a little clean because at the moment the van, well, tanker is an only child. So I'm down at JCD HQ. I've just had a real panic. The power went out and I thought, shit. Went next door, they're okay. Went the other side, they're okay. I thought, oh no. Extension lead downstairs was tripping everything out. Luckily we've managed to get power back on because podcast tomorrow, haven't we? So that would have been interesting with no power. Good day today. Got a few bits done. Got what I needed to do done at HQ as well, even though I got down here late because we've got plenty of call outs. Tomorrow, interesting day. Adam will be joining me. I'll be down at JCD HQ in the morning. We have a podcast guest. I'll tell you more about them tomorrow. That wraps up Monday, guys. Good morning, gang. Tuesday. As you can see, I'm not on the tools at the moment anyway. I look rather pretty and dashing because we have a podcast guest. I've got Ollie Rastall from Source Environmental coming down to see us today to have a chat with me and Adam for an hour in one of our podcast episodes. We're hurtling towards March. We're early February now, so we're getting more and more booked in. I've got a busy calendar. I've got 2 this week. I think I've got a couple next week as well. So that's starting to get a bit of momentum, which is good. Obviously, I'm away early part of March. I am going out the country for a holiday, which I'm really looking forward to. So Ollie's down with us today. I've done some bits and pieces this morning, paid some checks in, etc. So I'm just waiting for Adam to get here. Adam's getting down here, well, it should be now 10, and then Ollie is here at 11. We'll get straight into that. So hopefully be done by sort of 12, 12:30ish. I've got one drainage job to go and look at this afternoon, but it's relatively local, so hopefully that shouldn't take too long. And then that's the day. So we're office day today, which we haven't had in ages, to be honest. In the process of potentially looking at another van, because as I mentioned, I think it was yesterday, I think Peugeot will be having our van for some considerable time. So we can't keep going where we are. I need to get someone else in to do the drainage rather than me. I say it wasn't really like that. We had someone else doing that, but then that stopped, and I've ended up jumping in. So, mainly around when I started doing content. So it just looks like that's all I do all day, but I can assure you it's not. And there's lots of other stuff that goes on as well, managing our JCD portfolio. So I believe Adam's just got in, so we'll wait for Ollie, and then we'll get this podcast done. So we've just finished our podcast with Ollie Rastall. What a lovely guy. Some real good conversations, and this is what I was really looking forward to with the podcast, is the networking opportunities that it's going to get. Even though it's not going to be a sale, it's not it's not someone I'm going to be selling to. Just the networking and meeting different people from different aspects of the business or the industry is only going to benefit me as a personal brand, and in turn the businesses I'm involved with. Super nice guy, because look, at the end of the day, when we're going to do these podcasts, not every person I'm going to get on with super well, or they're going to be that personable. I don't imagine. There's going to be people that are comfortable in front of the camera, some that ain't. And I know Ollie puts a lot of content out, super good content, good quality. So it's good. We had a lot in common. He's a bit older than me and a bit further down the road with his business journey. But super nice guy. So Ollie, if you're seeing this, thank you for coming and spending time with us. We have another podcast this week where we are meeting a founder of housekeeper.com, which is a tech business in the cleaning space. That's going to be super interesting. I'm really looking forward to that. MBE. I won't give away too much because obviously I'll save it for the podcast, but that will be a super interesting one. Me and Adam are at housekeeper.com on Thursday. So we're up in the city for that one, because some people are not going to come to us. Ollie was super kind. He took an hour and 15 down. We've just finished having some lunch, because obviously that was the least I could do, is he come down to see us. So some people we're going to have to travel to, which is fine. Me and Adam don't mind travelling around. So I was meant to have a drainage job. That's been cancelled because apparently the local council is now dealing with it. So that's it for the moment. I am now going to head back home. I'm going to do some work there because the children are off this week. And after just speaking with Ollie, I realised the importance of balance. It's not always about work. So I'm going to go home. I'm going to catch up on some emails and bits and pieces there and spend the afternoon with the wife and children. So that wraps up Tuesday, guys. Wednesday, tomorrow, I am at the office meeting with Sandeep, and because we have some projects that we're going through. So wraps up Tuesday. I'll see you in the morning in Wednesday. What's happening, gang? Wednesday, a bit later in the day. I didn't film this morning. I was down at JCD HQ, but I'll give you a little update about that shortly. I've just had to come down to a call out, a bit of an odd one. The housing association, they've got a cracked toilet, so I've got to come down here to isolate the water. I did say I would come down here and bring a new toilet and replace it, but that needs to be approved first. So I'll make the journey all the way down here, isolate it all the way back, and then come back again to replace the toilet at a later date. Who knows? But anyway, let's get the tools out of the van and we'll go inside and see if we can isolate this water.
Toilet's got a crack in it. I need a replacement.
So that one's all done. I just took all the water out of the system basically and isolated for them. There's a crack in the toilet pan, so that need replacing. Yeah, just a bit of a DIY advice. Usually to your toilet, if you want to turn the water off, there's a screw. Literally, it'll run. If the line's running straight in the direction of the pipe, it's on. If it's across it, that will stop the water flow. Simple one really. I mean, just in case you need to turn the water off quick, because otherwise there's just water going everywhere in your bathroom, isn't there? So an easy fix, that one. So yeah, I was down at JCD HQ this morning, catching up with our office manager Sandeep. She works pretty much all remotely at home now, to be honest. She works at home, so it's nice just to have a face-to-face to catch up. We've got a few projects that we're going on at the moment. We're moving over to a time and attendance solution for all 75 odd of our cleaning staff, so they'll have to telephone in when they arrive, telephone when they leave, and that way it collates our payroll data, because we previously outsourced our payroll to our accountancy company, but we're bringing that in-house because we've got a bit of capacity to do that. So it just makes sense, saves a little bit of money, which is good, and keeps the ladies busy. So we're in the process of doing that, and just a few other accounting bits and pieces. She does all our inbound and outbound accounts, so just keeping an eye on things and making sure everything is as it should. Good morning with Sandeep, and I managed to have a catch up on some paperwork. Heading back down towards my neck of the woods now. I've got to pick up the tanker, I've got to shoot to another quick job which is local, and then that's it. Tomorrow we are in London, so Adam will be filming all of the day, I imagine, and we are meeting with a tech founder startup of housekeep.com for our podcast, and just to go down and see how they operate really. They predominantly operate in the domestic market, which is a slightly different beast, but obviously I won't ruin too much of that today, and we'll discuss more of that tomorrow. So let's get back in the car and head down towards our HQ. I went and done that drainage job, to be honest with you. It was a very, very quick win. I got there, guy showed me the drain, I literally put a rod down it, and it went, which is nice. I did give it a little jet out for the guy because I felt bad being there. To be honest with you, it's been a relatively relaxed day in terms of I've been at the office with Sandeep. I went and done that job. It was easy. It took me longer to drive there and drive back than it did to do both jobs put together, to be honest. So a bit of a relaxed day today. Got plenty on tomorrow though. Adam's joining me in the early. He'll probably film all day tomorrow because we are heading up to the city to film an episode of our podcast. Should be a really interesting episode. Looking forward to it, and looking forward to showing you those details. So check in tomorrow. It's one you won't want to miss. Good morning team. It's Thursday. Adam's joined me for the day, so you've not got to put up with my dodgy DJI footage. Well, it's a relatively early start. We are heading up to King's Cross, isn't it? Round that way. We're heading up to the city anyway. We are doing another podcast episode, our second of this week, and we are meeting the founder and owner of housekeep.com, which is a tech startup in the cleaning field. MBE, no doubt, so we're getting some big guests on the podcast. Going to be a super interesting day and a super interesting podcast. So let's jump in the car and get out to the city. Taking the journey up into the city. We're around the Barbican area. It took us about 2 hours to get here, but we're here nice and early because obviously don't want to be stressed before we get here. So it's a short walk. We're going to take all the kit out because obviously this is our first time out on the road with the podcast. I think we might have to do that on the odd occasion, especially for more high profile guests. I don't think they're going to want to spend a couple of hours traveling the other way to us, so that's something we'll just have to work around for guests that we think are really valuable to the podcast. We'll have to go to them, which is fine. So this is our first test run. I'm sure it'll be fine with Adam's technical capabilities. So yeah, we're going to unload the van. We're in a van. Unload the car, short walk, and then yeah, we'll get going. It should be super interesting. Looking forward to this one. So let's unload the van. Car. It's a car, not a van. We're not in a van. We ain't got a van because they're in Peugeot still. So we have arrived at Housekeep HQ. It's a lovely building in the middle of central London. We have met the owner and founder, Avin, and so we are just getting set up in a meeting room that they've let us have. Adam's prepped a nice background so it's not too reflective. So we're going to get set up, then we'll have a chat with Avin, just give him a little bit of an idea of how the run through is going to go, what it's going to be. I mean, as we know with the podcast, we'll try and keep it relatively informal, but we want it to be informative at the same time. So we have got a steer of questions, not a list of questions, because say this isn't really a Q&A show. Yeah, a little bit nervous for this one for some reason, which is good because that means you're alive and it's keeping you on your toes. So I'm sure it will be fine. We'll get set up and then we'll get started.
Look, the data says that your chances of success are basically zero. Right? So you've got to be a bit crazy to start a business. Right?
Relax. That went really well, I thought. So we finished our podcast with Avin. It was a very good chat. It flowed. I'd actually go as far as saying it was probably the most easy conversation in terms of its flow and the topics we discussed out of everybody. And to be fair, I was not really nervous because I'm a geezer, but I was pretty nervous about today, just because I wanted it to go well, not because I was worried about what was going to go on. But it was a very productive conversation, some great points taken out, and yeah, I had a chat with Avin after, and it's good to chat with someone that's, you know, at the pinnacle of business, and they've done a business from the ground up to what is multi-million in revenue, and obviously the guy's an MBE, so he's clearly doing something right. So we're going to pack up, I'm going to go and get the car, and then we're going to get out of housekeep.com, and then we're going to get back to reality and get down to JCD HQ. Get the car. I'll grab the motor. So I'll go and get the car. We are now back in Kent. We are at the Guilfoyle HQ. I've just come back. Really interesting day. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I say I was had a little bit of good nerves this morning, but got into the flow of things. Had a real good conversation. We covered some fantastic points, and I was also, Avin gave me 20 minutes of his time while Adam was packing up, and we had a chat just about our business. He sort of chucked some questions at me, which is great. I think one of the real positive things, apart from getting everyone's story out, and obviously the content and exposure it gives me, is the networking. I said to myself I'm going to do a lot more networking this year, so the podcast will play into that. I'm also going to some networking events that I've been invited to several times with people that I'm familiar with online, like Lawrence from Twin FM. I'm going to a networking event there, and I think even speaking with Avin today, it just proves that it's not, this is a bit of a broad statement, but it's not what you know but who you know, and your network does play a big part into your business journey. So a really productive day, thoroughly enjoyed it, but I'm now back to reality with a bang. Adam's going to take the kit, put it in his car, I'm going to put that away. I'm going to get changed, and I have now got to go back to reality in the tanker. But needs must. I'm sure we'll get there one day, and we'll get a new van soon. Someone will be out doing that, and I can get back to focusing on the business. So a productive morning. I'm going to head inside and change. I'll catch up with you guys in a minute, and we're back out on the tanker. And just like that, we are back to the other side of the business. Super interesting morning down with Avin. Oh, got a car alarm. Down with Avin. Yeah, enjoyed that. Some real takeaways, which is good, and that's what this is about at the end of the day. So I'm down at a drainage job, quick one. I know this job, so hopefully it won't take long. And I'm going to get back, and I've got some tenders that I need to get through and some quotes. So yeah, let's go and see what this one's about. it comes. There it is. Nice quick blockage that one, so that one's done. I'm going to head back in the van and we are going home now for the afternoon. I'll carry on doing some work for there, so that's probably going to wrap up what's been a busy and exciting day for all of us at JCD. I'll catch you guys in the morning for the last day of the week. What's happening, gang? It's Friday. Not much on today. In fact, there's nothing on. I went out this morning, went down to a regular contract, well, not a contract, a regular place that we service for drainage services over in Gillingham, Kent. Nice and local. Met a customer over there. They have got a foul-smelling drain. So they wanted us to go over there and just have a look, and then they want us to give them a jet out. So we're back there Monday morning. So I didn't bother filming that because I was only there 20 minutes just to have a look at the lie of the land, to be honest. And then, I say, we are there first thing Monday. I've been working from home this morning and just reflecting on the week, to be honest. It was a productive week last week. There was plenty going on. Obviously, we have our podcast with Avin, which was interesting. He was the second guest that we've had on the podcast that I don't really know. So, and obviously being an MBE, I was at a little bit of nerves just in terms of making sure that that particular podcast went well, which it did. And we're going to start to build a little bit of momentum with that now. But it's had me thinking really, a bit of a takeaway from this week about how I need to spend more time back, the old cliche, working on instead of in the business. So I need to push forward with getting someone on the drainage. It's been interesting on the YouTube channel in particular. So when we started that, like pushing out weekly episodes, I was really getting dragged into the grey water stuff. So you haven't really seen what was going on before that, the previous 8 years, because very rarely would I do anything like that, just out of necessity. But we still haven't had a quote from Peugeot, still haven't even, the parts haven't been ordered, the repair obviously hasn't been done, so we've got to get a quote, parts be ordered. So I took the decision this week that we're going to be buying another smaller van. And that goes into another podcast we did with Ollie Rastall. There's never a right time. Nothing will ever be the right time. You think to yourself, oh, well, shall I get another van? And it's not really the right time, so I'll wait. But then what happens is 3 months will go by, I'll still be on the tools, and I need to be focusing more on the business development for both businesses. So I've got someone that's going to come on board full time. Hopefully we'll get the other van back in another 2-3 months. And then we've got 2 vans because what would I like Greywater to be? Well, ideally two vans, our smaller tanker, and I would like a big tanker as well. That would be sort of utopia. So that's going to push me along to do that. We've got some interesting jobs coming up, still waiting to hear about a couple of them. So yeah, I think that's the plan. Dealing when I'm starting meeting other business owners and things like that, get you a little bit motivated. And it's stuff needs doing. So yeah, that's the plan. New van, hopefully in another couple of weeks. Amazing, get a brand new one with a brand new jet quicker than I can get one repaired. So yeah, new van. Someone come on the drainage, and then I can get back to doing some of the business development and winning more work and projects for both businesses. So that's what's going to be happening. Next week, we've got an interesting week. Monday, we've got plenty of drainage to be getting on with. Tuesday, what have I got on Tuesday? Podcast. I've also got James from Digital Scientist, who manages all of our SEO and websites, coming down for a catch-up. I've got some stuff that I need to run through with him. Wednesday and Thursday, I am actually on a training course next week, but Thursday evening, I am going to a networking event. Promise we'd do more networking on the channel. So that's what's going to be happening Thursday. And then Friday, I'm at another networking event. I know, tell me about it. And I am also going to playing golf. No, I know, networking, right? But I'm going to take our recent guest, Ollie Rastall. He's coming with me. And it transpires, we obviously didn't talk about it on the show, but when I've asked for his details, he's told me he's a 9 handicapper, which means he is pretty good, which is always enjoyable. Hopefully I'll be able to hold my own against him. So yeah, an interesting week. Really enjoyed this week. Top stuff going on. Hopefully we'll carry that on into next week. So that wraps up this week, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe. We're over the 500 people mark, and I really want to start grabbing a little bit of momentum, start getting our shit as we head towards 1,000 subscribers. So yeah, positive week. Really enjoyed it. Lots of takeaways, lots of lessons. Let's hope next week brings the same. Peace out. I'll catch you on Monday in the office.